Record. Welcome, everyone. We are very excited tonight. I have Michael back. He's the co-author of Game Changer, and he hasn't been with us because he's been focused on some different goals in his life. But I want to thank him tonight for taking the time. Welcome, Michael. And thank you, everyone. So really what tonight is about, and I've had to make a list, okay, so I don't miss anybody. But it was 1 year ago, minus a few days, that Game Changer was published, okay? And it's been quite the year, okay? So first of all, Game Changer is a book about relationships. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. But we want to thank everyone for joining us today and taking your valuable time. The opportunity to be able to acknowledge people that have been supportive is very, very important because we both really appreciate that, okay? Some people purchase Game Changer, some people purchased the audio, others came out to the book tour. We've just had a tremendous amount of support. Some are very good in subscribing to the YouTube channel, and we have a bunch of videos we've done. You can actually see the synopsis of the book, and there's going to be a lot of new exciting ones coming in the new decade. Now, I want to make sure that everyone is thanked. So first of all, we're going to thank Friesen Press because they're the people that published. Then we'll do ACX because they did the audio. When I went on the book tour in Alberta, which you can see if you go on to my Personal Muse website, there's a whole tour, and I took pictures at every area that we went. And so these are the people that helped me. It was Leslie Donaldson, Anne Rumack, Sherry Moyer, and Carol Bram. Dave Reynolds of Indigo set the stage up for everything to be able to do the book events and signings at the different bookstores, and all the managers and staff. So in the Edmonton area, there was St. Albert, 170th Street and Calgary Trail, Indigo. In Calgary, there was Signal Hill, there was Chinook, and there was Crowfoot. In Nanaimo, we had the Indigo there, Victoria, and Granville in Vancouver, and then in Spruce Grove. And I really want to thank Elliot Eister and Matthew Ashton for all the help that they've done with the social media, and we're all just learning. During the Alberta tour, I think this was very powerful. It was in February and March, and the weather was 40 below. And I could not believe it. The people, one lady actually, Kim Brooks, drove in from Drayton Valley to Edmonton, which is a big drive. And we so appreciated everyone for showing up. It just made it so important. Okay, and it is an important book because relationships are very important. And I'm going to say the first relationship we have is with ourselves, and there's other relationships. So no, Michael, what would you like to say? I've kind of did that kind of thing, and we can.
Well, I guess I think you forgot the one person that we should thank is Sandra Morin for all the, without her, none of this probably ever would have happened. She's sort of taken this and made it as special as it is. So from my point of view, I'd really like to thank you for your time and your effort and your drive, and to where this book is going to go will rest largely, to a large extent on the efforts that, you and social media, your connections, your contacts, because you really believed in this book right from the very start, as I did, but you're, I think, a lot more savvy with social media and public speaking and so on and so forth. So I guess I just want to say, as sort of the silent guy behind this, thank you so much for your time and for your efforts. And you know, where this book's headed is an important book. And the more that this book gets exposed, the more that people get to read or see or hear or be around someone who knows about it. And again, we're really good at that. The book gains momentum, and it's a read that, you know, as we go through life, and I've kind of set myself up where I'm a little bit sheltered, right? I live on an island, and I kind of like stay away now from, you know, like the bad things that are going on. You were telling me that, you know, between 40 and 70 now, people are just tearing themselves apart, and families, and abandoning their relationships, right? Game Changer is just a wealth of information and practical exercises to help keep those couples together, maybe some of those couples together that might have just threw in the towel, all right? So I don't see it as much as you do where I'm at, but the statistics are not getting any better. So more power to you and your drive and your focus, because people really need to see this book. And I think largely through your efforts, that's going to happen.
Well, Michael, basically, thank you. We have set the stage. And before I met you, about 2 to 3 years prior to that, I knew that there was a relationship book that needed to come. For the simple reason that relationships had really changed. And yes, we want the relationships to stay together. However, Game Changer says you need to go within and do more work, because so many people want somebody to make them happy, or they don't want to be alone, or they want somebody to take care of them. But the frequency of the world has changed. There's a whole new paradigm, and 2020 is even going to be more profound, okay? And so if you can't get along, it tells you in there a really good way to uncouple with some kind of integrity and diplomacy and that type of thing. Even if you don't have children together, but if you have children together, rather than have the parent alienation and the challenges that we're having with the young children right now. So I think it's a good read. And so many people have said to me, and forever who's watching, I have heard so many stories as I went on tour about that same thing, Michael. Some people had been married for 20, 30 years, and then they divorced. Their family was raised, their family was doing really good. And I'll never forget, I can't remember the lady's name, but she might be listening. It was Valentine's Day, and it was on 170th Street. And her husband had got back together. They had both split up, and they had relationships. The fellow she was with passed away. They were both still working. They were in their 60s. But they had met and had supper together and said, you know, we really went through a bad time. But they had started to date, and they were actually going on tour. And she bought 2 books, one for him and one for her. And I see a lot of parents, and I get a lot of calls for people, even with the consulting and counseling I do, that they say the relationships are the biggest issue right now. But I think you can agree and you can address it. The first chapter is all about the relationship with self, but you also have to realize you have a relationship with your family, you have a relationship with your co-workers, you have a relationship with society, but you have a huge relationship with finances, okay? So it's that whole thing, and I think Game Changer really covers that, Michael, if you want to talk about the financial part, because it is, you can tell them, the biggest investment.
Yeah, I mean, when you come to divide by 2, I think that's thrown right at you, because a lifetime of commitment to a relationship and financial obligation, wealth building, creation, whatever it is that you've got going on as a couple, can be torn apart in a heartbeat. If you guys can't find ways to fit and enhance and complement each other and recognize what you have, and that I think you're right. Like you got to talk about people who need to find relationship with themselves,
Right.
right? To look to somebody else to make you happy, right? And so that person's not making you happy. And we go back to the finance. Now you're going, well, we've built up all this wealth. He's not making or she's not making me happy. I got enough if I divide by 2. Well, I can live pretty good. To hell with everything else, right? So at that age, most couples will have a family, and the family is, and the home is man's greatest accomplishment throughout civilization. We've quoted that from the Urantia book. It's difficult to walk away from all of that if you can recognize in yourself that you have a responsibility to have this awesome relationship with yourself. Bring your best person to the table, your best you to the relationship, and see if that doesn't bounce back at you in some positive way. Okay? And then perhaps you can keep that wealth together. You don't have to just like and watch the walls come tumbling down.
Right. Well, I think not just from a financial point, but I think in the book we did talk about it and the statistics, and just a lot of interviewing people, is there's the financial devastation, there is the emotional devastation, there's a spiritual devastation. Okay, there's a big devastation. And when it comes to what you've built, and then all of a sudden the other party gets involved and they've split half, it's divided by 2. So now what you built, and sometimes one partner isn't as equal as the other in the building, gets divided by the other person. So say the woman gets with a man that has 4 kids, or the man gets with it. So now, if you don't look at the legalities of that, all you worked for in your life for your children is now diluted. Okay?
Or might wind up 100% with the surviving partner's family.
Exactly.
You know?
Okay.
I mean, whichever partner outlasts the other one actually winds up with control of all those resources, and they could all most likely go to his own children. So everything that you've worked for, everything gets crumbled and it winds up in somebody else's hands. So this book is a wealth of practical knowledge and experience and advice.
So right? Now, because it is Christmas time, and it's a very important time because families get together. There's a lot of craziness out there right now. I was driving today and you can just feel it in the air, because globally we have a lot of, Christmas time brings a lot of challenges when it comes to blended families getting together, or extended families not being able to be a part of it, that type of thing. So I would say, and if you need a stocking stuffer or you need a gift, please check out Game Changer. Look at it. There's actually what do you call them? A little trailer on it. And I'm going to leave with these words. I still believe in relationship. I believe it takes 2 to tango, but I believe that you have to do your work on yourself. Okay. That's my personal thing. One thing I'm going to leave you with, especially over the holidays and knowing what's happening, because we've got lots of changes in the next decade, is be very observant. Be your own witness. So wherever you are, like if it's a company party, or if it's a family do, or if it's whatever, take the time to just be still. And so when you're your own observer, your witness, you're observing what your behavior is. And so are you reacting or are you responding? And is there triggers? Okay. And I want to wish everybody, this is my ending, is, and Michael, you can finish, is I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a very joyous holiday season, be mindful and be aware. Don't let the past go. And, you know, the children are important. They're at the moms, they're at the dads, they're here, they're there, they're wherever. Okay, and these little souls need to be cherished. And have yourself a happy new year. And thank you for listening and taking the time. My God.
You know, Game Changer is a book about consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Game Changer will create an awareness. And if all of us can benefit by living life consciously and with awareness, Game Changer will bring that to an extent to your life. Now, we all can give a gift for Christmas that might be a sweater, a pair of socks, who knows, whatever, that gets discarded after, you know, whatever, a year or two, or some toys that go in the garbage. I'm not sure, right? But if you want a practical gift that can sit in your bookshelf or on your desk or on your wherever within eyesight to read at some point in your life, I don't think you're going to find yourself a better minimal investment for the cost of this book, for what it can provide for you or somebody you love. You will not be disappointed. The cost of this book, it'll be the best investment you'll probably ever make, because there's no better investment than investing in yourself, no matter what it is you wind up doing. And this book helps create awareness and consciousness, and you invest in yourself. Okay? Awesome, awesome gift for you or somebody you love. Highly recommended.
And I'm just going to say, because I'm going to be doing some videos on December and the planetary changes, and I will say 2020 will be the game changer. So thank you so much. Good night. Are we done, Michael? Anything?
That's awesome. I think I've said everything that I need to, and thank you so much for whoever has purchased our book. Pass the word to others who may purchase this book. It's a win-win situation, and to anybody who's considering in the future buying this book. Awesome. Love you all.
Thank you. Lots of love.